So the things written on this slide have very much been discussed in morning session. That what LaTeX is just a typesetting program. So, and what it does is that it takes text as an input, and it formats it in terms of the lines, paragraph, and pages, and in return or in output, it gives us a very beautiful document in the end. So, and LaTeX is supposed to based on a tech as the programming language, and it contains many basic features within itself. But by saying programming language, I don't mean to make you nervous about this thing. The point is that
Sir, I think your audio is not clear. Bit audio thing. Can you please set your audio level?
I think it's fine. You can check your mic on a headphone.
Now it's okay, sir.
okay. So, this is not like the other scientific programming languages like Fortran and C++, etc., etc. It's actually a very simple, very easy and simple language to work with, and this we are going to see in the coming sessions. So, not all the features can be incorporated in a single package, and hence there are many additional features which can be incorporated into it through many simple codes, right? As also have been mentioned in the morning sessions, that LaTeX is very useful in preparing many type of the documents, and some of them have been mentioned here as well: the letters, applications, etc., etc., etc. And also in the morning session, we have learned that how we can start preparing documents in the LaTeX, right? What you have to do is simply open Text Studio and directly start writing the text into it. And how to compile it is also very easy. And for that, we can take help from this F5 key, which is on your keyboard, or you can press this green double arrow on the Text Studio, which was discussed or mentioned by Dr. Abhinav Pratap Singh in his presentation in the morning. So all whatsoever things will be are discussed here, they all have been implemented through Text Studio and compiling it with this F5 key. So another in this current slide, I'm going to discuss about the basic LaTeX template, which you have seen also in the instructions which were sent to you, I think, few days back, and also discussed in details by Dr. Abhinav here. So all the LaTeX documents that they contain these two different parts. One is called as the preamble here, which is characterized by this word document class. Then there is these square brackets, which represent the optional arguments which need to be specified here. So we have kept this empty here. It means we are not giving any optional arguments. What does it mean? That LaTeX understands the default arguments here. So automatically the default arguments are going into this here. And then we have to specify the class here article. Uh, and this could be one of the options which are mentioned here, the letters, applications, or the articles here, right? And what this command will do, that it will set some appropriate environment for the document, an article environment. And what does this mean actually? That LaTeX understands certain basic needs of a specific type of the document. For example, the spacing, line spacings, or what to do when it encounters a section, or what to do when it encounters a chapter. So all that kind of basic settings, they are initiated by writing this simple command in the preamble, right? Generally, preamble consists of many other things as well, which will be coming in due course here. And then comes the next part, that start with this begin document and end document, which is called as the body here. And all the input text that goes between these two lines, right? And again, LaTeX understands here that after you assign begin document command, it understands that okay, now the text which will be followed, that is to be typeset here, and end document will tell that okay, the document is finished here. Okay, So all these things have been mentioned here in the bottom. Preamble sets up the appropriate environment, and all text goes here. And the last bullet tells about how to save any file here, right? So it is characterized by this tech extension here. For example, myfile.tech. And please remember that while naming your tech files, we have to avoid spaces, as was mentioned in the morning as well. So what this simplest LaTeX template will do, it will not be producing any output as such, except showing up a blank page with a page number at the end, right? But as we discussed that this does not mean it's blank here, right? It is setting up the proper environment for the typesetting of the documents. Okay, so now in this slide we will see some LaTeX document which is going to produce a certain output. So again, you see here we started with the document class article to set up the environment, and then we see this our old friends begin document and document here, and all the text is written between these two here. So what it will do, it will print the text written here in this format here. And we have to notice couple of features here. One is this LaTeX written in a specific format, and also the blue color coming into certain text here, right? And I think it's very easy to understand that this LaTeX effect is coming from this command here. And the blue color.
Sorry, hello.
Shivanshi, please unmute your micro.
Hello.
Yes.
So sorry to disturb you, but your voice is not audible clearly.
Hello.
I don't know if it is same with other participants or not, but your voice is not audible clearly, sir.
I think we are able to hear him.
So is anybody else also
Check
having
your
the same
connection.
problem? Then I may request you to kindly check the settings on your end, actually, if others are able to hear me well properly. Okay. So I think I
So
will
the
be-
problem is that sometimes it is quite clear, and at times it is not being clear. That's the issue, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. So in this actually the two effects are worth noticing here. One is the special way in which this LaTeX is appearing, and another is this the text appearing in the blue color here. So all these special effects are generated with the help of the commands here. And how to identify the commands is that every command is going to start with this backslash here. Like for example, backslash LaTeX. It is going to produce this sort of effect here. And also in the bottom you see slash color, and then in brackets we have mentioned the color with which you want to print the text here. So what this command has done is that all the text followed by this command is printed in blue here. So in overall, what LaTeX actually is that it is a combination of the commands and the environments, right? So to produce any special effects, we need to set up the right kind of environment and use the right type of the command. Set up the right type of environment and use the right kind of the commands here. And of course, every command or environment has certain arguments to be specified, and the compulsory arguments are given by these braces here, whereas the optional arguments are specified with the optional arguments here. And no command can work without the compulsory arguments. This is what we have to be careful with. And optional arguments that may or may not be specified. Okay, so as I mentioned that the environments are quite important. So some of the specific environments have been discussed in this slide. For example, this mini page environment, and another is this verbatim environment here. So what mini page environment does, that it divides the page into in a page vertically. For example, the two boxes here, one with mini page environment title and another is example of verbatim. This has been created with the mini page environment, right? And in the mini page environment, this line here represents the starting of the mini page environment, as was mentioned that, and that all the environments, they have this particular type of the environment. For example, it always starts with begin command here, and then the name of that environment, and some compulsory argument is given here, which is 0.48 start text width here. So what this argument will do, that it will divide the total width available for writing the text, which virtually starts from here to here, right? And take some fraction of it and will insert that mini page in that particular area here. So rest of the space, other space is not available for it to write here. And whatsoever text you want to write, that can be written below it. And once you want to you close this environment, you have to call this end page, end mini page environment here, right? So this way, then this type of environment is quite useful when you have to print text side by side. You know, that, if you want to emphasize something, or want to, one side you want to put a figure, and the other side you want to put some explanation here. So then this mini page environment is called many a times here. And another example of a special environment is given in this verbatim here. And what this environment does is that it prints the text in the same way as it is written without doing any typesetting. And this environment is specifically useful for writing certain scientific codes. For example, I have added a small C++ code here, which just print only here. And how to start this environment? It just starts with begin verbatim, again the normal way we use for all the environments, and it ends with end verbatim here. And what it will do, it will print the codes in the same way as they are written in the without any manipulations into them. So after discussing these things, let us try to build a certain document. So for example, I have tried to create an article here with the title. There is problem with the spelling here. This is E instead of A here, elementary particle collisions. And the people, there are 3 authors related to it. And of course, there is a date printed, then followed by the abstract and certain sections and the subsections here. The 2 sections have been added here, and there are 2 subsections related to it. So now we will proceed towards that, how to create this example document by using LaTeX.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Can you move back to the previous slide once?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so here there are 2 sections and 2 subsections, right? So the subsection, the font size is by default, or we can tweak it, or we can change it?
At this moment, it is by default, and of course, it can be changed easily.
Okay.
At the end of the presentation, I will be coming to that part as well, that if you want to change the fonts, or want to change the size of the text, that has also been dealt. So all whatsoever seen here, this is by default. As you see that we have not set up, and we have not changed the environment in any sense.
Okay, sir.
So before we start forming this document, it's just is a quick discussion about some special or the reserved keywords, right? So what do we understand by the special reserved keywords? That these keywords or these characters have been kept by LaTeX for doing some specific jobs. For example, we have already seen that what this backslash is doing, that it marks the starting of either an environment or a command. here. And but sometimes we might need to write this in the text as well. So how to produce this, that has been given in the last column here, right? So if you directly write slash, what it will do, LaTeX will be treating it as the starting of a command. But if you want to take print it as as backslash in the text, you have to use this command here, slash text backslash here. Similarly, another reserved keyword is and where it is used in the table to separate the entries in the different columns here, right? And I think Dr. Arvind is going to talk more about this here later. And to produce it in the text, you have to use slash, backslash, and then the and character here. Also, these curly braces, they are also playing a specific role, that is mentioning the compulsory or the mandatory argument for any environment or the command here. But this also plays one more role, that is of creating the text blocks. I will come to this part later in one of my slides here. But the R should not be used directly as it is, right? To produce them in the text, here is the command here, slash, and then the braces written like this here. Similarly, another special character is there, this sign, percent sign generally we call it, and this is used for commenting the text in a line. So all the comments in the documents are to be started with this symbol here. And if you want to use percent in text, you have to use this syntax here. Similarly, we have one more important reserved keyword, that is the $ sign here, and it is used to write the text in the mathematical text, right? So just to produce it in the output, you have to use it here. And the last one which have been discussed here is this symbol, and it is useful to like sometimes what happens that by default, that the LaTeX breaks a word into two parts in order to fit them nicely. But if you want to suppress this feature, that you want that certain text to be appearing always together, then you bind them by using this symbol here. So overall, there are 10 symbols which are reserved by LaTeX for special purposes. I am not discussing all of them. I have just discussed some of the very important keywords only.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes, please.
Would you please be kind to go back to the previous slide, please?
Sure.
Yes. Sir, here these are the special characters. But I mean, in case I need these characters within my text. For example, I need the $sign, or for example, I need the and sign. I need actually the oblique sign, or even the percentage sign. Sir, then what I should do?
So the last column here, which is showing the command to produce as text output, they should be written in this way. Like for example, if you want to produce this left curly bracket, you have to do slash, backslash, and then curly bracket only. Then you can produce them in the text. So if you want to be a special effect, you directly write them. But if you want to produce them as a text output, you have to write backslash and then the symbol.
So within that, I mean, curly bracket, there is another backslash, right?
No. That is for the second one. So it should be like this. For single bracket, it should be this and then this. And for the last, for closing one, you have to use this and then this. So you have to add backslash in front of the special character.
And I mean, after the first curly bracket, I need to write down my text. Then again backslash, then close the curly bracket, right, sir?
Yes, then it will produce the curly braces.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. So these are the different parts of a document. Generally, we see this is the title, and then there is an abstract environment, and of course, then followed by the chapter name, then the sections, subsections, paragraphs, and the subparagraphs. So generally, all type of the text documents, they are going to see this type of the parts, except this chapter name is missing in case of article and some other different type of the documents here. But generally section, subsection we are going to see around in our different documents. And next what we will see that how to produce the title, abstract and these sections etc. one by one. So first I will come to how to prepare the title of a document. Dr. Abhinav Pratap has already discussed some part of this. So, but I'm just for the completeness sake, I'm just going to repeat some of the components here. So again, any type of the document I said should start with this document class by default here, and then we have included a package input enclose something. This set up the specific type of the environment. So this I will not be discussing here, and then comes this slash title part here. So this is a title command, and the name of the command is title here, and all the
Sir, excuse me.
yes please.
Sir, what is that UTF-8?
So this is
Use package
actually,
UTF-8. Is that the package name?
yes, it's not a package name, it is an optional name here. The package name is this input env here. So generally,
Okay, that is an option name only.
yes, in LaTeX, generally all type of the characters and the letters, they are not defined. So what this package is actually doing, that it is including means different type of the letters and the numbers inside the LaTeX preamble actually. Okay, so I hope I'm clear on this, right? So this is a sort of environment for doing that number or the alphabet settings here. So the title command goes starts from here, and whatsoever title is to be specified, that is to be written within these curly braces here, right? And afterwards you have another command with the name of author, and it starts with the blue braces here, and it is going to end here. So all the text in between that formulates the part of this author command here. And since in the sample paper or in the sample document we had 3 authors here, so they have been mentioned, the first author have been mentioned up to here with address, and to add one more author, this and keyword or and command is useful here to add the second author, and then another and to add the third author here, and you so on, you can add something here. And you also see these double backslashes here and here. So they are actually to start a new line here. So what we will see, what will be the impact of these lines here. If I go back, then what you see that there is a name here, and in the next line you have the name of the department and then the name of the institute here. So this effect have been produced by this double backslashes here. Okay, and this and keyword is actually making sure that the 3 different authors are appearing like this. And sometimes in the document we add this command as well with the name thanks command here. And what will this thank command will do? It will add a sort of footnote at the end. In the next document, it will be clear that where it will be appearing. And also you can manipulate the date as well by using this date command. And as mentioned by Dr. Abhinav Pratap in the morning, that if you do not use this command here, it will by default put the today's date here. And how to create the title is that you have to again go to begin document and end document, and inside this body you have to write /make title. Right. So this way you can manipulate or change your title here. And at the end you are going to see the document like this. The title goes here, then the authors, and the footnote which I was mentioning is appearing here. Right. So this is the example text I have taken. You can manipulate, or you can vary, or you can style the title and the author in many different other different ways. This is the basic style I was talking about. So in the next slide, I will move towards how to write the abstract here. So the abstract is written within this, in the abstract environment. It does not need any, it does not have any, and it takes only optional arguments, not the compulsory argument here. So what you will do, you will start with begin abstract and with end abstract, and whatsoever text should go inside the abstract that is written here, right? And if I go back to the abstract here, what we have seen is that there is an indent here. The first the line, there some indentation have been given by default here, but sometimes we need to suppress this indentation. Then you can use a special command with the name no indent. Then what it will do, it will start the text from the very beginning here, and the output of this is going to be like this, the abstract. And this begin abstract and end abstract, this is to be put within inside the document thing here. So this was for the abstract part. Now we are moving towards writing the core part of the document here. So again, all these things, all the things need to be done within this begin document and end document environment, right? And of course, we are familiar with this make title, and then there is no such command with the name slash abstract. It actually is that begin abstract and end in abstract thing. Just I have suppressed that in order to make this slide more visible here, right? So make in a actual document, your slash make title will come, and then begin abstract and end abstract, and then the abstract in between. Afterwards, to declare the first section, you have to use the command here slash section, and then the name of the section is to be given here, right? Then you can write some text here after giving this command here. And once you are, if you need to insert some subsections in between, that can be done with the help of the command subsections like this, slash subsection, and then you can give a title to the subsection followed by the text which is to be written inside. Another section have been declared here with the name experimental setup, and then a couple of more subsections have been added to it. And a paragraph can be added by this thing here, paragraph, and then some name if you want to specify it, or you can leave this as empty as well here, or subparagraph also in the same way. So all the things, the input given here will give you this sort of thing here. The introduction, and then the first subsection of this thing, and also there was the subsection added into the second section, and also this is subsection, and the paragraphs, so the first paragraph and the subparagraphs here. So if we see this very carefully, that then we had not specified any of these numbers in the input here, right? LaTeX does that automatically for us. All the section numbers, and this has been done here. And this has been very useful here. Suppose that I have written my thesis, and I send it to my supervisor for to check it, and he suggests me, okay, you have written your thesis in a nice way, but I want you to add a subsection in the introduction part. So what will happen then? Then if it is a sort of Word document or any other document, then you have to change the numbering of all the sections or subsections manually here. But in LaTeX, you need not to worry about that here, right? So you just if it is the auto numbering option, so it will automatically reset all the numberings for you here. And another thing I noticed here is, yes, please.
So sorry to interrupt you, but your voice is audible, but it is not clear. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you clearly. So will you please change your earphones or something?
Actually, it is your problem.
No, sir. I can listen others clearly. I tried two, three earphones.
I am also a participant, but I hear clearly.
Vivek, may I request you to please check it on your end actually. So maybe you can just try to turn off and on your mic perhaps, or some other thing. Okay, so and another thing what we can notice here is
All participants are requested to please mute your microphone.
is so should I start? Yes. So the LaTeX is doing auto numbering for us, but there is a problem that it can do this numbering only up to subsections only, but it does not do any numbering for the paragraphs or the subparagraphs here. So sometimes we might need this facility as well, and this can be very easily done.
Malik sir, I think your microphone is in. Please put it in the mute position. Okay, thank you.
So sometimes we might need to increase the numbering up to the paragraphs or the subparagraph levels as well. So that can be easily done with the help of either this command here, that is add to counter, and this is section number depth, or set counter section number depth, right? So the number given here in this compulsory argument will tell us that how deep you want to go inside the numbering here. For example, setting this number 5 here will help me in going 5 levels deep. What is the meaning of the level? In case of book and report, your chapter is considered as level 1, right? So the second level will be that section, and then the third subsection and subsection, and so on. It can go like this. Whereas in article class, you do not have anything called as the chapter, but so the section sits top in the hierarchy, and then further you can go go deep up to subparagraph, the numbering up to the level 5 here. Okay, so this way you can increase the section numbering up to whatsoever level you want by using these two commands, and these two commands have to be specified in the preamble so that it is it gets implemented in whole of the document. So LaTeX also provides the facility to change the numbering schemes as well, and there are these different type of options which are available for us. The name Arabic, it gives us access to the Indo-Arabic numeral numbers, the 1 2 normal things which we see normally in the text we use. Similarly, if we specify this Roman number option, then the lower case Roman numbers can also be specified inside the document. And similarly, the uppercase Roman numeral are available with this command here, or this option here. And similarly, upper and lower case English letters are also available with this thing here, and they will be useful in case you want to change the default numbering schemes. So for example, in this slide, I am going to demonstrate that how to change the title style of the sections here. Just in order to remind you a bit that what is our default thing here, that we are using these 1 2 3, which are the Indo-Arabian Arabic numerals here. But if we want to change them to the different options, for example, the Arabic somewhere we have done, or the alphabetical characters, then that can also be done easily with the help of these renew commands here. So let's look at them one by one. Let me just remove them. So for example, let's come to this first command, this one. So this renew command, renew means this command is already existing and you are trying to redefine it in a sense, or you are asking it to do some new things here. And then there is this thing here, backslash chapter name. So this is the name of the command. So you are trying to redefine a command with the name chapter name, slash chapter name. So in LaTeX, this slash chapter name actually was producing that number 1, 2, 3, that the name that chapter as we saw in here. So this chapter actually here is not coming, but this chapter it will give you the name chapter 1, chapter 2 like this here. So what we are trying to do here is that if we want to, instead of writing chapter, we want to write unit. Okay, so what this slash chapter name command will be redefined to name it as unit. That's why in the at the bottom we see this unit name here. Okay, and then this second here, this is again renew command, means redefinition of the command. This slash the chapter assigns a number to it, right? So now what we are asking it to do, that I don't need 1, 2, 3. Instead, I need A, B, and C. Unit A, B, and C like this. So this is being done by this here. And similarly, the section command will be dealing with the sections, and this will be dealing with the subsections here. And what we are asking it, that instead use a different styling for it. Okay. And once we call them like this, again, the calling way has not changed here, the chapter or the section or the subsection here. But what will be the impact here, that you are going to see them in a totally different new style here. So all that can be done with the help of a very simple few commands. And you have to put them in the preamble so that they could affect whole of the document like this. So after this, I will be moving towards something called as the leveling and the referring here. So, and what actually this stands for, that sometimes while writing your documents, we need to refer the section name or the chapter name or the subsection names. For example, if I trying to write the experimental set of my document, and then I say, okay, this particular features have been explained in the introduction part, or this feature have been discussed in are discussed later in the results section. So then how you can take that mention into account. So that has been dealt by this leveling and referring here. So all the things to which LaTeX assigns the serial number, they can be called anywhere inside the document. Right? Assign serial number, I mean the numbering like this, 1, 1 or 1.1 or something like this. That all these numbers or all these sections, they can be referred anywhere in the document with the help of very simple commands which have been listed here. For example, for a normal chapter, you have the syntax up to this, the slash chapter and the chapter name you give. But at the end, you are going to add something this slash level and then the reference key here. So this name or this particular level will be used to refer that particular chapter name anywhere within the document here. And similarly, you can see for the section name as well. Again, the syntax up to this point is same, and we have added only this part here, right? Similarly for the subsection and similarly for the subsection. Right? This is only available for those parts which are numbered by LaTeX. Okay, so here is an example of the implementation of this leveling and referring here. So you see the name of the chapter introduction have been given, and this is the level or the reference assigned to this thing here. And again, while choosing these names, you have to you can use any words here, but it's better to choose such names which make sense or which make a relation to the actual thing they are referring to. For example, I have the name of my chapter is introduction, so I have named it as chapter introduction. Similarly, the here is an example how to refer to a section. Again, the basic syntax of label is same, but I will just use this thing here, section, and then the colon gravity, just to give it assign it a name which tells about what it is referring to actually. So overall, there are two ways of making a reference. Either you can use this thing here, chapter dash intro, or you can use this the double column thing here. The choice is up to you. That the way you can use any one of them here. And this is the syntax here just given again, and this is the way how you are going to refer it. The definition of is given in section, and then you are not going to give the name of the section. You are just using the reference here, reference of the section, which is here. So whatsoever number is assigned to this section by LaTeX, that will be appearing here. Right? I am then going to demonstrate this further in the next slide as well here. So just the few things about this. There are two different ways of leveling and referring. One is this, another is this. You can use either of them. Choice is yours, right? And both of them work equally efficiently here. But while leveling, please avoid the blank spaces while defining the reference key. And of course, always the name of the reference key should always be a meaningful name here. And the levels and references are produced in the output automatically. The serial numbers, so serial numbers are assigned automatically, output is produced automatically, as there is no possibility of getting these numbers wrong. And in case you make any changes anywhere in between, it is propagated everywhere in the document without any problem. So for example, we saw this syntax here that the definition is referred something here. The output will say the gravity is given in section 1.1. So all this has been done automatically by LaTeX for us. Okay, so this was for referring the chapters or the sections, but LaTeX also provides the possibility of mentioning the page numbers as well. But for that, instead of reference command, we have to use /pageref command here. And of course, the way of defining the key is the same as is for the reference part here. For example, we had assigned this reference key to our chapter number 1 introduction here. And how we are going to call this is that energy this thing and page/pageref chapter 1 intro. So what will this command do? It will mention the page number on which that introduction part has started, or in where the introduction chapter has started. So the page number will automatically be updated. Okay. So these were the basic things with the leveling and referring. But if you want to have some more control over the leveling and referring, then you have to add an additional package with the name where you refer. And of course, it's a package. So you have to add it in the preamble with the command use package, and then just mentioning the name of this thing here, name of this package in your preamble. So here, this package provides two functionalities. One is this vref, and another is vpageref. So it is again the same way that it will be used for referring the sections and other things here. And if you just want to use the page numbers only, then you can use vpageref. But it has certain additional features as well, which I'm going to discuss in the next slides. So the first mentioning that what is this vref will do for us, that it will be executing a pair of references and page reference. Means it can tell us about the section or the chapter numbers as well, and also it can tell us on which page that particular section or chapter is appearing or starting. Okay, and our vpageref package or this command is very smart also, that once you call this vref and the reference is occurring on the same page as well, then it will not be making any sense to mention the page number, so it automatically omits that. Then in that case it will be just producing the reference to the section or the chapter only, right? But if the reference or the chapter or the section whatsoever you want to refer is lying on the previous page or the next page or the same page, then it can produce the text like on the facing page or on the for previous page it might print the preceding page, or for the next page it can print on the next page. Automatically it can generate the things. And obviously if the text to be referred is separated by more than one pages, then it will be giving us the section and the chapter number and also the page number both here. So it is a sort of smart in many senses. If the reference is on the same page, then it is just going to mention the section number, section name only, and if it is separated by one or more, then the appropriate text is generated and the page number are given if the difference is more than one page here. For example, we have used this reference here. What this reference has been used with this vref here. Then what output it is giving us is are described in this section 2.1 and where on the preceding page, as in the actual document the output was this section was appearing in the previous page, so that's why it has printed it like this. So you can use the vref to produce this type of the outputs in your text document. And what about pageref? As said, vpageref, that it does not execute ref, but it only will be discussing about will be printing only the page numbers here, right? So as said, that it has the same effect as vref, except the reference section is not mentioned, only the page numbers they are mentioned here. Okay, so here is the full syntax of the vpageref. Okay, it is the name of the command, and then it has two optional arguments, 1 and 2, a same, a diff, and also there is a blank space here, and then the reference key. Reference key same as we had given some previous sections. For example, if you see here, this is the section CG here for the central gravity here. And what these optional arguments means that a same actually will be called or will be activated if the text to be referred is lying on the same page, right? Whereas if the text to be referred is lying on the different pages, then it will be activating a diff here, and phi is representing the same space here. Okay, so here is one example of calling this vpageref. What we saw, we call this command and then we written this text here, above definition or the definition, right? Remember that this first part is for the same page and this part is for the different pages here, and this is the reference here. And let's say we are calling this command here, then this reference is for the center of gravity. Okay, now what it will do, first it will check that on which page the actual this reference is occurring, right? If it is occurring in the same page, then it will ignore this definition but will activate above definition. Then what will be the output? The above definition, instead of this whole reference, it will write the above definition is for center of gravity, right? But if it is on the different page, then it will be ignoring this above definition but activating the definition part. Then what will be the output? The definition on the preceding page if it is on the previous page, is for the centroff here, right? So if the definition is not on the same page or in the preceding pages, but is on the different page, or the page separated by more than one, then the output will be something like this. The definition on page 5 is for the center of gravity, right? So with the same reference thing, you can achieve the different effects depending upon where this reference has been mentioned, where this reference has been created. Okay, so some more little discussion about the LaTeX preamble, that this is the basic thing which we have seen till now, but there are certain special packages also which are required sometimes, and also sometimes you need to define certain new commands or some optional arguments as well here. And why there is a need for certain things here, because you cannot incorporate everything in a single page, in a single package, right? Then it will lead to many problems, like it will become very heavy, and for example the compilation problems or installation problems, etc., right? And all the time you don't need all of the packages here, right? So you can make the choice based on your requirements. So just to mention that this is the way how your LaTeX preamble will look like. So next I'm going to discuss about the LaTeX document class, specifically the options here. For example, the many options which have been mentioned here, right? And they can be changed as per your requirement, right? For example, if you want to increase the font size of your document, you can go for a different value here. For example, 12 pt, right? Or maybe 11 or something you want, right? If you want to change the appearance of the page, then you can go for different options, like here one column we are saying. So that's why the output is coming as a single column. If you write 2 column here, then the output will be generated in 2 column output. So all those things, they can be changed very easily from here, right? And in this sorry, in this slide I am going to show what are the different class options we have, and we have already discussed them in the earlier presentations as well, and also some part of it, that you can create article by writing article in this class, or some IEEE transaction format will be auto generated by replacing this class with this name. Or similarly, if you want to make certain proceedings, then you can opt for this option. And generally the thesis or some longer reports, they go by this option, right? You have some option for the book as well, beamer and letter, etc., etc. So what you can make a change in the class, and what will this document class will do? It will set appropriate environment as per the document. Okay. Similarly, as I said, that you can change the font sizes as well, right? There are the 3 most widely used options, and by default the text is printed with this 10-point option here. We will discuss in the meaning of this in later in this LaTeX tutorials. So also you can set the paper size as well, and there are the many options available, right? And generally rarely these things are changed actually. Also, as I told you, that the page format can also be changed. The 2 column and the 1 column things options can be chosen by default. You have one column here, right? So the single column document we see in the normal text here. 2 column options can also be specified, and this is called as the dictionary style here. So you see in the dictionary they are built in with the 2 column option here, and the different options, you can see some example here as well. That for this is the very basic thing here. We have not specified any option, so the default options have been picked up. for the, and this is for selecting a book, and then the here the different options have been changed here. So you can change them the way you like. So as said that LaTeX provides the additional facility to add the additional packages as well. Somewhere in the morning we have discussed them already, and the MikTeX virtually will be helping us in installing some of those packages here. And if you want to look at the list of the available packages, you have this link as well, and you know how to add them, right? Just by use package thing, use package name, PixG package which was mentioned in the morning as well, right? Or the geometry package, etc. So that can be done. You can also add multiple packages together with the help of this command. This use package you start with, and then you can mention all the different packages to be added by a comma separated list within the curly braces. Okay, now we will be discussing about the text alignment inside a document. So this is a very important line here, that we need not to rarely we need to change the text styling. Why? Because by default text is justified by default in LaTeX. If you see here that this is the input, clearly we have written the text here, and the justified text have been produced here. But sometimes if you want to change the text alignment as well, then it is also possible within the LaTeX thing. And what you have to do is that you have to invoke the proper environment. For example, here, the begin flush left and end flush left here. So what this environment will do, that it will be left aligning all the text given. So I have written the same text which was written in the above input here, but I have written this text within this flush left environment, which starts with begin and ends with this end flush left here. Okay, and what we see in the output, that all the text is left aligned here. So that's why we have this sort of appearance here, the left aligned text here. So begin flush left and the end flush left is going to help you there. Similarly, the right alignment of the text is also possible, and what you need to do is you need to start with begin flush right, and then you have to end with end flush right, and the text is aligned to on the right hand side here. Similarly, the center alignment is also possible, and again the environment is begin center and then the end center here. Okay, and you see that your text is center aligned with respect to a specific line. Okay, now above alignment can also be produced with the help of this ragged left, which is equivalent to the flush left, and ragged right is equivalent to flush right, and then the centering is to the center alignment here. So you can use any of the options. Okay, so quotations also needs a special mention, right? And they need to be printed in a specific manner, right? So LaTeX has created a environment with the name quotation environment, which starts with begin quotation and it ends with the end quotation environment here, right? And all the text which is to be the quoted text is written in between them, and which will be appearing somewhere like which is shown here below. Sometimes we need to actually increase or adjust or change whatsoever you want the spacing between these two lines here, and how that will be done, that will be done with the help of the spacing environment here. So we have added this spacing environment which starts from here and which is going to end here. Okay, And since, you know, if you look at the name of the person who has said this thing, right, is has to be appear on the extreme right hand side, so it should be a right aligned text. So for this we have called our flush right environment, and end and whatsoever is to be written, that is written inside here. So there are two or three things to be noticed here. The first thing is that we have started with the quotation environment, but we have not ended it. But inside it, we have started another environment, begin spacing. And still it has not ended, and we have started another environment, begin flush right here. So this type of environment setting is called as the nested environment setting. Means one environment and inside another environment. So LaTeX is perfectly supporting it. And what it will do, that this environment is open here, and once it will encounter end flush right, now it will be closing it, and then end spacing will close, begin spacing and something. So nested environments, they are perfectly allowed here inside this thing here. And second thing is, look at this starting curly brace and look at this ending string brace. So this combination actually is forming a text box here, and inside we have written this backslash it here. So what it will do, that it will convert all the text into italics, but only one text here, which is between these two curly braces here, right? So sometimes text box are used if you want to limit the impact of certain command with respect to only a certain text, right? If you are not going to use these boxed braces, then it will be changing the style of all the text following this slash it command here. So we have many times we have to use it, and this has to be used very wisely, right? So all the impact will be can be confined with the help of these two, the combination of the curly braces called as the text boxes. Okay. So sometimes you need to start a new line, or means start a new line for writing the text. So there are some different ways of doing that. The most widely used is this new line. So what it will do, it will break the line from the point where it appears, right? I have an example demonstrating the impact of all the different options here, right? Similarly, we have this double backslash. We had seen that in the when we were mentioning the author as well. So it is also operating in the same way as the new line does, but it is a shortcut for the new line. Also, this is very widely used in the tables as well for starting a new row as well. So new line can only break a new line, can start a new line, but this symbol has the multiple uses as well, right? To a couple of them, I told you that it will help in starting new line. Secondly, it will be helping in defining a new row in a table, and third is written somewhere here in the in between here. So again, what it has done, double slash, and then you have written in the square brackets 2 mm. So what it will do, it will generate the vertical space of 2 millimeter after the end of the previous line, right? So this is also a useful way for generating the vertical spaces in like this. So this is this is also another widely used command here. And the third way is the line break. This also does the same function like new line does, okay? But it has one more additional thing, that it forces the last line text to cover the entire page width, right? So for example, in new line, I think example I'm going in the next slide, so I will not be mentioning the example, but you have to remember that it forces the last line text to cover the entire line width here. And there is the fourth way as well, that if you do not want to do write new line or any of these options, you can just simply insert a blank line by pressing your enter key. That pressing an enter key is also equivalent to the creation of a new line. Okay, so here this example is demonstrating the impact of the different options for creating the new lines here. So in this input side, I have I have repeated the same statement 6 times. What only change is that at the end, I have written the different options for creating a new line. For example, after this one, I have a new line to see the impact, how does it responds here. Then here in the second point, when the statement is ending, I have put this line break. Similarly, after the third one, we have used this thing, the double slashes, to create a new line, and then at the end of fourth and in the fifth, we have left a blank line here. Okay, so you see what the new line is saying, that as soon as it reaches this text, it breaks the line and it starts the next line here. Okay, and now what about this line break? What it has done, it has also started a new line. You see the number 3 is appearing in the next line, but there you don't see any empty space in this line here, right? So what it has does, it has increased the margin or the space between the words of the text, so that the last line is completely appearing like a fully filled line here, right? So new line will not be creating this impact, but yes, this is going to create this thing here. And here after the third or before the starting of this fourth, the impact is with this double backslash line, and you see the impact is same as like the new line here. So that's why this output and this output, they are exactly the same. And similarly, you see there are the 4 backslashes. So what it has done, it has created a new line and also created a blank space like this. So you can use for creating multiple spaces here as well here. And the last one is just leaving the blank space, also starts a new. So there are different options, and you can use any of the options you like. Okay, so next is creating the new paragraphs here. So the simplest syntax for creating a new paragraph is this thing, a simple par, and followed by certain text. Okay, so it will start writing without giving any indent in the beginning. So new paragraph will be started. But sometimes if you want a new paragraph to give to leave some space in front, then you can use this command as the par here at the starting of a new paragraph, and to leave this certain space, you have use this command /par indent. So an 8 mm space has been left here, and then it will be started. Okay, and somehow this is another way usage of paragraph skip and something. So now the paragraph can also be specified by like this. If you want to give an heading to it, for example, you write the command name paragraph, and then within the curly braces, you are going to specify this name here, and this name is appearing like this here for a heading in something here. And similarly, you can use this sort of thing here for some heading or the next paragraph you can use. So these are the very simple commands for creating the new paragraphs here. Okay. So sometimes in LaTeX you need to specify certain spaces as well between the text here. So just to warn you a bit, that if you want to create spaces with the help of the tab by pressing tab key or the space bar key, as is done for other text editing softwares, your LaTeX will be simply ignoring it. Suppose if you are pressing your space bar 5 times in the hope that the vacant space equivalent to 5 characters will be appearing, it's going to consider that only as a single space, right? So, and but if you need to give some extra spaces in between the text, then there are many different options available, which have been uh, which have been listed here. For example, if you see here X, the name of the command is /quad, and it will be taking and the next text appearing afterwards is enclosed within the curly braces. Either you have to leave the blank space in between for that. So what it will do, it will create the space equivalent to this here. Similarly, if you want to double the space, you have qquad command here, and you are free to use as many as /qquad in your text to, if you want to increase the space further here. So you see, just see the impact here that the double space has been inserted here. But sometimes if you have to produce certain characters very close to it, then you have certain options like this x, then slash comma, and then we are next text next letter coming, I have included in the braces here. So just they are placed with the reduced space, and also this space can be produced with the slash double colon command as well, right? Or there are the three other options. And if you want to bring it close further, you have other options as well, which have been listed here, right? And the only warning here is that these last four commands, they are available with only with the package with the maths package, which is AMS math. So you have, if you want to use these features, you have to include your that AMS math package in your preamble, right? But sometimes if you want to leave the larger spaces, or then there are certain predefined commands as well. For example, this big skip, sorry, or vertical skip or vertical space. You can, so both of these commands, they will be giving helping in specifying the vertical spaces here. Or for the horizontal spaces, you can have h space or h fill commands for creating the spaces while writing the documents. The impact of some of those commands has been shown here. Again, uh, for the first input here, we have invoked the centering environment. So all the text will be printed in the center of the document here. But we see we have used this slash big space column here. So what it will do, that among the lines, it has increased the space, right? The values for them have been specified by default in LaTeX. They all can be, those all values can be changed, manipulated, right? Similarly, the same effect can also be produced with this vskip 8mm. So by specifying the different value for the vskip, you can change the separation between the two lines, right? And if you want to have them right aligned or left aligned, all that things can be adjusted with this environment here. That all choice lies with you, right? Similarly, you have vspace as well, vertical space, also producing the same impact as well. And you can see this impact here. Similarly, for the horizontal space, sometimes you need to create the horizontal space specifically in the top of the question papers, where you write one wording on one end, another on the another end. Then you can use this h space command here. So slash h space, and here you can specify how much space you want to leave in between. So write language, then a space English, then it will be printed like this, the space of 5 mm. And this is another special command here. If you want, so what it will do here, you have written marks 100, then there is hfill, and then the time mentioning here. So what the hfill will do, that the left hand part here, that will be left aligned, and the text following it will be perfectly right aligned. So what you will see, that this will be starting from the text part, and this will be ending at the right part, and whatsoever space is in between, that is left as the blank spaces here, right? So hfill will will do a sort of double duty, that the text below will be perfectly left aligned, and the text following will be perfectly right aligned. So that kind of impact can be generated with this hfill command as well. So we have discussed many things about the positioning of the text inside the document. Now let's try to take one example, how to create this certificate virtually. So you can see there are various parts of it. It starts with this thing here in the center, and also this thing in the center. So this thing is written in italics here. Then there is the body inside certain special effects, and then there is a also in the text in the bottom, which is perfectly right aligned. I think, and now we have understood all the tools which are required to produce such kind of output. I'm just going to walk you through the various steps. Okay, so I have listed what are the different components needed. This thing here, I said that this is something in the middle, so in the center. So we need to call begin center and end center environment to produce this kind of effect, right? And of course, there is a sort of separation, means there is a sort of space, white spaces or vacant space between these two. We have many options. We have vskip, we have vspace, etc., etc. But I am going to use this traditional our old friend /0.75. Of course, this is within the square brackets to leave this kind of space here. And of course, this is starting from the actual starting of the text. So I need this no indent command as well, so that no space is left in the starting of this thing here. And since at the end we have some text in the extremely right, so I need to call my flush right environment as well to produce this kind of effect. Yeah, so these are the different tools which are needed to produce this document. So this is the first part. As we said, that we need to write everything in the center. We have called begin center and end center environment. Then we have written our text, and IT Jalandhar, which has come here. And then I want the next text to appear in the next line. So that's why this double slash is coming. And I want also have a vertical space. So this 0.75 is giving me the vertical space here. And then I have written this. I want to put a special focus or emphasis on this. That's why I have used this command /emphasis, and then the box is the argument of this, and then it will be producing this text here. Okay, so the next is the body of that, and I'm starting with again we have specified this no indent here, so that the paragraph starts from here, and this is to certify. Of course, I wanted to write this in the curly bracket because the name of the institute it needs a specific mention, and similarly the title also needs a specific mention. And here are the quotes here, right? The left quotes, they are produced by a button which is mentioned like this, just below the escape button, and the right braces they are produced by the normal quote, single quotes here, or the double quotes button close to the enter on the right hand side. So of course, the last part, as I said, we have to call begin flush and the end flush right command to put the text to the right line like this. And of course, this is for the new line, and the special emphasis, the special command for putting an emphasis on some text. Okay, so as I was asked in the beginning, that can we change the appearance of the text or the size of the text here? Yes, this is very much possible, and there are many options for doing this, which have been mentioned in the last part of this presentation. So LaTeX supports many families like Times, Arial, etc., and they are broadly classified into Roman family, sans serif, and monospace families here. So RM stands for text Roman, and whatsoever text is written inside it, that will be produced in the Roman format, and similarly sans serif and this the monospace format here. Similarly, we have the options for producing the text in bold format or italic format or uppercase or lowercase, etc. And they have been, you see this common word text here, and this bold face or IT is for uh, italics, and then uppercase text or lowercase text. I think in the morning we have the examples of this, so they all can be produced. And similarly, underline for underlining a particular text, and there is another option /s out. So this is used when you want to strike out a certain text. So for example, if I write /s out temp, then what will be the output of it? It will be temp written like this, and then there is a strike sign like this. So all those things can be written here. And if you want to change the size of the text, you have the different size options available: tiny, then you have script size, footnote size, small text, normal size text, etc. So this tiny keyword will help in different font sizes here. And remember one thing: these commands are written inside this box, starting with curly bracket and ending with curly bracket. If you do not use them, it is going to affect the all the text following this thing here. But if you put them, only the text within these brackets will be affected. So we have to be careful with that. Similarly, some other options for the text variation: large, three varieties of large here, and two varieties of huge text. They have been used. So there is another one more thing, which is normal size text, which is the default text size for a particular type of document. Okay, so the example of the different options which we have studied in the previous slide. For example, see, look at the different statements here. These statements are in Roman fonts. Sorry, these are in sans serif, and these are in the monospace fonts here. And then there are tiny size and the large size here. And here is the code that is for them. So for Roman, I have used this command /text or rm, and then all the text is within these two braces, right? So that's why written in Roman fonts I'm going to get here. And then the same way we have sans serif, the same way we have the monospace fonts as well. And in the bottom we have this example, this command /tiny, and then written tiny size. So the size of this text is reduced to this thing here. And I have used this /large option for the large size, and you see the impact of this here. Okay, so different other options can also be used for changing the text size. For example, here, this is tiny size in Roman font. So this is Roman. The bracket starts from here, ends here, and then I have included this tiny option inside. So two or more options can be used together. It's not a problem. You can use boldface here as well, /boldface. Then it will create all this text in the bold size here. Similarly, for producing the underline effect, /underline, and then these braces have been used. So you see this syntax here. So this is text rm, text in Roman format. Size of the text is small, and the text is underlined as well. So this is small size in Roman font underlined. So with this very similar small with the simple syntax, you can do this. Similarly, if you want to produce the color effects as well, this is also pretty easy to do. Again, /text Roman, the bracket starts here, and this environment ends here. All the text between will be Roman. And then /color, then we have to mention which color you want to use. For example, here I have used the red color here, and bracket start close here for you. And then what type of font I want? I want the large font here. So that's the /large I have mentioned. And I want to have it in the bold format, bold font. It starts here, ends here, and then all those four effects: Roman, color red, large font in boldface. I'm going to see this out. Similarly, I have Roman text, blue color, italics, but huge size. I'm going to get this here, right? So all different options can be clubbed together, right? So dashes can also be produced in a paragraph in a specific way. For example, look at the text in the right hand side. Whenever you have to mention the text X, Kumar, is we want the dashes to be of smaller in size. But when we want to mention the page ranges, we need them a little longer dashes like this. And once if you are mentioning the volume of a book or something here, you need to use these big dashes here. So these effects can be produced in the LaTeX by writing a single dash will be producing the effect like this. But you have two dashes, then the combined effect will be of this size. And if you combine three, it will be producing a big dash like that. Right? These are the keyboard dashes here, right? And these are the LaTeX combines them in a specific way. Okay, and sometimes it is also required to produce accents from the foreign languages within the existing English language as well. And LaTeX also provides the facility for doing that. And the syntax is for that has been shown on in the left hand side here. You have to start with again backslash, and if you write this symbol tilde here and then the name of the letter on then the impact is shown here. You are going to see this impact here. Similarly, the /v will appear like this, right? 5 symbols sometimes is needed in mathematics here. So then you need slash, then this is O here. It will be producing this effect, or sometimes the 5 big capital is need to be produced, then /O, you are going to this effect, right? Sometimes double dots are to be produced, then slash this thing here, include O inside the basis, you are going to this impact here. In old style textbooks, this was used for representing the double differentials as well in the text, so that effect can be produced like this. And I need to erase this for a minute. And if you want to produce an impact like this, the overline on a letter, you have slash equal to and then this here. To produce old style O dot or like this is, you can use this syntax here, right? There are many options here. So the accents from the foreign language are also incorporated inside LaTeX by using this type of syntax. Okay, so sometimes in text we need to insert the superscript and the subscripts as well, right? It can also be done in the math mode as well, which I'm not going to discuss in the lecture on equations. It will be dealt here, but without that, in the simple text thing, how you can produce them is by a simple command. You can do like this. For example, here, this is the date of birth of Albert Einstein. So March 14th, and I want to put this th as a superscript here. So then I will be using slash text superscript and then within the braces th. So it will be appearing like this, right? Similarly, for the subscript impact, you can have this h here, then slash text subscript, and then whatever subscript you want to put, you can keep it like this. Similarly, if 2 more examples have been given here. Right. You can, of course, in math mode you can do, but that will be discussed later. And also, there is a specific way in which the dots can be produced here, right? This is called as ellipsis in the LaTeX language. But you can get this impact with /l dots or the slash text. Why, if you normally press the dots, you see picture like this, but with the L dots, you are going to have the output like this. And see, this looks much more, presentable. This looks much more presentable. That's what I mean. So L dots are generally used to generate the dots inside inside the document. Okay, so I think now I am on to the last slide of my presentation, and that deals with how to change the interline spacing inside a document. We have a command, line spread factor, okay, and inserting it can increase the spacing between the lines of the text, right? We have, for example, how to use it is line spread 1.3 inserts 1.5 line spacing. And I think you people are already aware what the line spacing means, right? The separation between two lines. And if you want to increase it further, you can use /line spread double line spacing with 1.6, right? And what this will do, this will change the spacing in whole of the document. And if you specify this in the preamble of your document, right? But more better control on this can be provided by a set space package, right? And this set space package can be specified in the preamble here. And what it will do, it will help us in having these environments, begin spacing and end spacing, or begin double space or end double space. So will help us in controlling that particular part of the document where you want to increase the spacing, if it is not necessary everywhere to increase, right? So different environments are possible: single spacing, 1/2 spacing, double spacing, and spacing. And how to use it is demonstrated here: begin double space and double space, right? So this will produce impact equivalent to this line spread 1.6. And if you further want, if you want more space, then you have to use this begin spacing command, and here in between you can specify the how much spacing between the lines you want, right? If you simply write 1.6 here, then it is equivalent to double spacing, 1.3 is equal to 1.5 spacing, and 1 is equal to just the normal spacing of the document. So I think that's it from my side. Any questions or queries you people might have?
Hello.
Yes, please. We are able to
Sir, first of all, we are really glad to have such a resourceful lecture from you. The humble request is that your PowerPoint slides they are also very much resourceful. So it was very helpful for us. If you please be kind to share that in the group or through email, so that we can pursue that as reference.
Sure, actually, sure. We will be giving you the all the presentations and the assignment as well by the end of today. Through email, you are going to receive that. Also, the recorded lectures as well.
Okay, excellent. So, sir, the next, issue is that as you have taught us, we can actually change the font size for the whole document, and we can actually get some particular size of the font by teeny font, large font, this kind of font by writing the commands. But, sir, if I want to get, for example, 24 size font for particular some words or particular some text, is it possible here? Thank you, sir.
Yes, it is possible. Actually, tomorrow evening session, we have something called a new command part as well, where you can create your own font sizes, whatever you want. So it is very much possible, and you can create a new command, and you can use them like the /tiny or /small like this. That will be very much dealt tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow
Okay.
evening session that will be done.
Okay. So, sir, as just, I mean, you have taught us about the, I mean, indent, that if I do write that 2 mm, then my, the first line of the paragraph will actually begin from a bit, I mean, from the rightward side. Okay. Hello?
Okay, yes, yes, please.
So by the same direction, if I want to write, I mean, totally opposite, I mean, manner. For example, the first line will be hanging by 4 millimeter or by 8 millimeters.
Mhm.
Is that possible, sir? It will be hanging.
Sorry.
Hanging in terms of that, for example, just in Microsoft Word or any word processing, I mean, software, like, I mean, open, I mean, Word, there we can write it down very easily. The option is called actually hanging over there. That actually, I mean, begins right the first line. Are you getting my point, sir?
Your voice is breaking.
Okay,
Hello?
maybe I think it will be good if you could please write your question in the chat box, right? We will try to answer it there because we could not hear some part of your question actually. Hello, Shuminji?
Okay, I think there is some sound issue. Anyway, sir, I mean, if you please don't mind, am I allowed to
Okay.
email you on this issue?
Oh, sure. You are welcome to hear.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And once again, my heartiest gratitude for such resourceful presentation. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks. Any other question?
Okay. So now we close this session, and we will now meet or join at 4 p.m. for the tutorial session. And in the tutorial session, as I already told you, that we have the 5 groups, and we have already shared the information of in which group you are in the Excel file. So please follow those Excel file and join only in those groups in which your name is appearing. And for the Google Meeting of the groups, please see the PDF file which I have sent you on the email. Okay, so let us join again at 4 p.m. and in your respective groups. Thank you.